And the pot calls the kettle black, calls the kettle burnt, calls her mad, Kettle reminds the pot that we both been burned on the same stove, that the parts of our bodies that are layered in soot were scorched by the same hands. Kettle tells pot that she still boils water, holds the hot breath of a white man's tongue, endures the slow simmer of a white woman's allyship, and still we make something beautiful. Pot calls the kettle wicked, and Kettle says no, but says she's so magical she burned the hand of the last man who tried to pour himself a piece of her. Says she's so black she is everything, so black she is the beginning. She is the first thing someone finds home in when they wake up in the morning. Says ain't that what it means to be black? To have the world go up in flames around you and still be sanctuary for someone, saving men who lost themselves the night before, saving men who curse our names but forget his mama is made of steel too. And now the pot has no words, but calls the kettle bitter, but loves the glass pan, the fine china, loves all the exotic shit white men put behind glass casings, loves how fragile things not made of steel can be. But this isn't about the pot or the pan. This is about the kettle, the black woman, how she pours herself across the earth, but no one bats an eye when the water disappears. We give ourselves to men who never love us, but they say we are difficult, too hard to break. How we, the kettle, praise this pot, this man for all the water he holds. How we are the only ones who do not call him monster when the water boils over, because we know this heat, this white flame, hot enough to make any of us explode. We are the first ones to make noise when the world goes up in flames, but they say the earth was saved by the man who heard her scream. Pot calls the kettle black, and Kettle says yes, but says you best remember you black too. The next time they bring a fire to your neck, they burn black bodies on the stake and the stove. Pot calls the kettle black, and Kettle says, bitch, I might be. Says, nuck if you buck. Then says, wipe me down. Kettle says, yes, my nigga, I be black, I be mad, and I boiled the last man down to his bones when he tried to test me. Pot calls the kettle black, and Kettle says, hell yes. But don't say my name as if you ain't ever been burnt too.
All right, microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2.
The Department of Homeland Security conducting a raid at a house in Holmby Field Hills, believed to be connected to Sean Combs, the rapper and music executive, perhaps being linked to a sex trafficking investigation. Let's go.
Let me pause it right there. As you can see, it's going down. It is going down. Welcome, Mystic Moon. It's good seeing you. Miss RV in the house. I mean, I guess I could say I told you so and this and that, but y'all know that. I mean, let me bring it up a little bit more. Let me play a little bit more of this. Here we go.
Go live to Stu Mundell up in Skyfox right now for more. Stu, what do we know?
Yeah, I heard her say you were live. Copy.
All right, there you see Skyfox overhead of this home where, again, we are seeing Department of Homeland Security investigators taking a this home now.
No, that's weird. Okay, hold on 1 second here. Here we go.
Let's go to Haley Winslow, who's live on the ground right there. Haley, what do we know?
Sandra, this is going to turn into a huge scene that is going to be an all-day thing, and it involves, yes, P. Diddy. The home is actually registered to Bad Boy Films, which is a division of Bad Boy Entertainment. Basically,
Bad Boy Films, and that's not going to age well. VM in the house. I mean, think about it. Yeah, I wonder what they were filming. You know what I mean? You wonder what they were filming.
His company, and the home's registered to that and to his daughter. Now, from Skyfox, Stu up there, he got some shots of a few people coming out of the home. Those people have been detained. Now, we're trying to still connect the dots. We do have some sources on scene here that we're getting this information from. We were actually the first ones here with about 30 different law enforcement vehicles at least. There are 3 Bearcats on scene here. This just all unfolded, Sandra, I would say, less than 10 minutes ago. We got here even before the crime scene tape came up. So
Dang, I mean, what a way to end up. I mean, really, quite honestly, this has it has to do with Diddy, but it has to do with so much going on in our community. I mean, think about it. This did not have to happen. Well, you know something? It was bound to happen. Really, quite honestly, I was going to say, wow. I mean, he had so much money, fame, and everything like that. Why would he do something like this? But this is who he this is who he really is. And, you know, instead of saying, wow, I mean, what? He's such an upstanding man, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it. And look at him now. You have to look at it in a sense of that you have to look at it that this was bound to happen. This is what his character really is. And you have to ask yourself, him being a pillar of the community and a role model for men in our community, you have to really think. This has to make you really think about things. I mean, what are we going to start saying? Free Diddy too? Are we going to start doing that just like we do free R. Kelly, and then we were saying that about Chris Brown? And I mean, when does this stop? When does it stop? Here we go.
just down the hill, if you look up this street where Tony is right now to the right, you'll see one of those Bearcats, and law enforcement on the other side of those bushes basically is that home that is registered to Bad Boy Films, which is part of Bad Boy Entertainment. And the home in particular is registered not only Bad Boy Films, but to one of P. Diddy's daughters. Now, we are hearing from law enforcement sources that this involves sex trafficking, but we don't yet know to what extent or the details about that. But you better believe
this ain't good. What I heard is they made him put down his plane. He was up in the air. They said, "Oh, bro, you gotta you're gonna have to land, bro. You're gonna have to get down to the ground." That's what happened, you know. And basically, to me, I don't know if I really got on here to spread the news of everyone knowing this, but really to spread the news about a pathology and a problem we have in our community. It's like, this is what happens when you just go too far, you just do too much, and you think you can get away with shit. Diddy did all of that, you know.
Make entry into.
Let me see if there's anything new in here at all. I mean, quite honestly, it's just, you know, basically we just got some white folks telling us what's going on. Let's see what this person right here has some good ideas. Here we go.
Or where all the evidence is going to go to in the end. They are still outside, so that shows you that they're going to be waiting. I would venture to say when they find something, those are the guys that are going to make their way in and actually looking at and taking things from this home.
Now, it's interesting to me that,
where
you know,
all that information is also the tricky part. I mean, think about going into a stranger's home. You don't know where they put things. And
yeah, that is weird. I mean, the thing is that you would, well, you know, I would say, you know, at first, thank you, Mystic Moon, $5 super chat. Kim Porter gave Sloan Bella all the deets. All the deets. She predicted all of this crazy. Yes, she sure did. I bet all of the other celebrities are terrified of her reading them. Yep. Mystic, I mean, you nailed it. I mean, the thing is this. I would have said that, wow, you know, I know that Diddy was probably smart enough to hide stuff. But, you know, what I've learned is that when you got that criminal element in your blood, you make criminal mistakes. It's how he got on the radar in the first place. Somebody on Fox News is calling him R. Diddy. And it's going to be very interesting to see if Sonya and what's her name? What is it? The infamous Sylvia are going to be running to Diddy's defense as well. I mean, and basically that's the core of our problem in our community. It's not that that running to a black man's defense, it's running to the wrong black man's defense. There have been more women and men running to the defense of guilty men than running to the defense of those who are innocent. And that is why, in my opinion, the community is the way it is. Let me play a little bit more here.
And so it could be very hidden. So this whole process.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because it seems like in our community, we respect swag and fame more than innocence, believe it or not. That's really weird to me.
Could take a lot of time in terms of them finding what they made entry for. So this is a methodical, lengthy process. And again, this is taking place right here in Holmby Hills, as well as his Miami home. And I'm sure law enforcement officials from both sides in Miami and LA are certainly talking to each other as they go through this as well. But still no sign of Sean Combs himself. We don't know where he is. It's not clear if they're looking for him. He may be in New York, as Haley was mentioning on the ground there. But clearly, this was in all a very peaceful raid as they made entry, and right now as they are making their way in and out of the property as they conduct their search. But a search that is just beginning, as you see those suits, the investigators taking their time, making sure everything is done.
Dang, I mean, wow. The fall of a king of hip hop, which makes you think what hip hop was all about. When you think about it, I mean, hip hop was all about sexual exploitation anyway. So if it was all about sexual exploitation, then what is this little bit more when you think of it? Wow. I mean, this is why our community got gutted. I'm telling you. I know a lot of you don't want to hear it. You think I'm just, talking smack, but basically it's the core. I mean, it just shows you how we really need to reshape things in our community. We shaped it around hip hop. Let's face it. We made our communities built around the culture of hip hop. The pimp culture, the sexual exploitation culture, the money-making culture, which we don't, unfortunately. And then literally to the point where there are grown men online shaming women for getting PhDs. That's when you know there is something wrong in our culture. Tanya Sweat says this. They let them make a lot of money off the dysfunction. Yep, sooner or later, the table was going to become due. Yep. But wow, it's happening right now. It is. And these are the types of men that our community invested in. We invested in him. We made him the billionaire or former billionaire that he is or was. It's kind of sad. I mean, it's not just Diddy going down. It's really, when you think about it, our whole community. And there's going to be a large amount of dummies wanting to defend this guy, just like they did R. Kelly. It's okay. It's okay, Tanya. We know what you mean. We know what you mean. So, I had to throw this on. I didn't even have anything planned for today, but this was just too big of a situation, for me to ignore. I like to thank my team for throwing this together for me. This is, This is crazy. Let's listen to Lamora.
properly and methodically in terms of what they're looking for at this point. Again, we have a lot of questions that we just don't know the answers to at this point. We do have someone on the line right now, Hal Kemper. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you can make light of what we're looking at in terms of Homeland Security making entry into the Holmby Hills mansion
Welcome, Tevin.
of Sean Combs.
Sandra, this is a Homeland Security investigations that appears to be on site. What they're probably looking for is, well, I should say in general, they look at human trafficking and sex trafficking being a component of that. And of course, there's been some rather big civil suit stuff that's taken place, but also the New York case where the statute of limitations basically had been rescinded, allowing them to look back many years in this case. Part of it was there have been allegations that he was drugging young women.
Basically, he did everything Epstein did. In fact, he probably, who knows, maybe that's where he got his game from. So where does a black male image go from here? I mean, really, when you think about it, P. Diddy was supposed to be one of the pillars of our community, right? So was, in many ways, so was R. Kelly. It sounds like we hung our hat on the wrong people. H.T. Baldwin, good seeing you. H.T. says this, and we knew it. Yep.
So that there was, which certainly implies that it was rape that had taken place at some point. But I think what HSI is probably looking at is the interstate aspects of it. If there was any online activity that could have taken place, and that's usually where HSI would have a jurisdictional interest. Homeland Security Investigations being part of the Department of Homeland Security. Looking at the interstate side, mostly online and whatever.
This is what happens when you do too much. This is what happens when you do too much. The wrong people come to visit you. It's the right people for justice, but it's the wrong people if you're a criminal.
Place across state lines. And of course, he travels all over the place. So I'm sure they're looking at him potentially transporting women around the country, and whether that was tied to a larger criminal activity.
Yeah, definitely Homeland Security involved.
And it's funny. He could have stopped. Stopped doing this and probably have gotten away with it. That's how bad that's the pathology Cynthia G was talking about, where we as men in our community, even if we had the opportunity to straighten up, for some reason we don't. And it's pathology. We just want more. It's the driving force, unfortunately. Here we go.
Any interstate, as you mentioned, and international criminal activity here. So what exactly do you think everyone is looking for at this point? We saw such a large number of law enforcement make entry.
Well, it's a combination of both local and federal.
I'm going open mic. I'm going open mic. I'm not going to be on for too long, but I'm going to be on. Legs for Life in the house. Good seeing you. Here we go.
And from what I understand, the local law enforcement has the specific lead at each one of these locations, with the federal federal investigators coming in with them in concert. What they're probably looking
Mr. Snoopy in the house
for is any evidence that they can gather. Certainly any images, pictures, video, anything online. I've no doubt that they're going in and gathering up any electronic media, to include any laptops, any flash drives, anything that he might have that might support whatever allegations, whatever reasonable suspicion that they have that led to these search warrants. They just to get a search.
When do you learn your lesson? You become almost a billionaire and you're still doing stupid ish. I mean, when does it stop? When do you just say, okay, you know, I've been a degenerate for this long, whatever you want to say it is, right? And then allow this that you see unfolding on TV to happen. I mean, really, quite honestly, it's 20 years too late when you think about it, maybe even more. He had been terrorizing people for a long time. We predicted something like this would happen. So, you know, I still got my Jay-Z prediction out there too. I'm not saying he did anything because I haven't seen it, but I've went through some stuff. Birds of a feather.
Warrant like this requires a you know rather you know a certain substantial legal barrier has to be, or legal argument or legal litmus test has to be met just to get them to sign off. Particularly knowing with somebody with means like this, that if they go into their home, they're going to be met with some very capable lawyers on the defendant's part to challenge what was ever done, and everything they do there is going to be challenged. So you can imagine, not only did they have to work with the district attorney and potentially assistant U.S. attorneys in arranging this, but they also are being very careful on how they're gathering any evidence, realizing that just about everything they do on site will potentially be challenged in court by his attorneys.
Absolutely. And speaking of his attorneys, we did reach out for comment. We have not yet heard back. Obviously, we want to hear his side. For Sean Combs's part, he has denied.
I mean, there's not much of a side to hear. I mean, the thing is this: you can start the spiel, because remember now, all the what would you call them? Sympathizers are going to say the man holding them down, the man did this and all that. But when you think about it, there's been at least 50 rappers and people who have worked with Diddy who have said this dude ain't right. Who's that guy who did the magoosh, who said that Diddy did the magoosh on him when he was a kid? I mean, how many of those are out there? I mean, it's like, there's a point where it's like, okay, this guy's bad. And it's something about our culture that we don't do that. Because think about it. I've seen it happen online a lot. There'll be a dude who like is violent, but people still want to defend him, even though there's nothing in his future, present, or past that says that that's what's going to go down. Same with Diddy. I guarantee you, even if he gets out of this, let's say somehow he gets out of it through technicality or something, I guarantee you he'll be back in trouble in the next couple of years because he just can't help himself. He just can't.
Any allegations regarding sex trafficking and any investigation into that. But yeah, this could take a lot of time in terms of collecting that hard drive and flash drives and any computers they may find.
So since he's one of the kings of hip hop, would we say that basically hip hop is built on sex trafficking? I mean, we could make that argument. We really could make that argument. I mean, you know how they used to say weed was the gateway drug, you know, to harder drugs? Maybe hip hop was the gateway, hip hop culture was the gateway drugs for pimps and for modern day pimps, because they were pimping back in the day. But modern day pimping and exploitation in DV and SA of women. You could make that argument.
I was mentioning before, Hal, it's very difficult to know where someone would have that or would hide that if they were trying to hide evidence. And we're looking at a big mansion here. Before we get back to you, Hal, let's go to Haley on the ground there.
That is a huge. It's a building. That's a building. I mean, there are houses and then there are buildings. That's a building that probably by this time, 2 years from now, will not belong to Diddy. They might stretch it to, how many years did it take to get R. Kelly in prison? Let me check one thing out. Let me check that out. Did it take to convict R. Kelly? Okay, R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years, but how long did it take? Okay, it looks like R. Kelly was yeah, I guess it all started in 2021. So it took about 3 years, yeah, 2 or 3 years to get him in there. You know, that's R. Kelly. I mean, and it took decades for him too. It took decades to get him. And what's scary to me, what's sad and scary to me is it took, I mean, how can a community heal if we have these kinds of men around? So Mystic Moon says, no, pimp culture made it possible for hip hop bars. Yeah. And Mr. RV is talking about the mansion. You know it's bad on the inside. Yeah, it's a damn building. Yep. Y'all still looking at. Let me go back to that photo. Yeah, the landscaping's on point and everything. I mean, everything is on point except for the dude who owns it. That's a shame.
Hey, Sandra, yes, we just got that statement from the Department of Homeland Security that I was trying to get for you guys about 10 minutes ago. It doesn't say a whole lot, but it says this is attributed to Homeland Security investigations. Earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available.
And let me make it clear, they don't like doing this. I know it sounds funny, but think about it like this. This man right here, Diddy, makes a lot of money for a lot of people. Okay? So this is not something they wanted to do. So that's why I'm trying to tell you that the narrative, well, the man always wants to take the brother down. They don't want to take him down, really, in general, because he's a moneymaker. The problem is that there's a point where it's like, okay, this is just too freaking much. Now you're putting people, now he's putting other people, his investors, what would you say, his investors at risk. And they probably made the phone calls like, okay, we can't do that with this brother anymore. They probably found out that in the future, he will no longer make money for them.
Nothing really that we haven't already told you here on the
So
scene.
put him where he belongs. Put him where he belonged 20 years ago before he implicates somebody else.
On the ground, a lot of the law enforcement officers with Homeland Security have gone up the hill. You can see one of those big command vehicles coming out, one of those police vehicles. In the meantime, behind us,
H.T. Baldwin says this gigantic house here, he's got an LA house, which is 17,000 square feet, and the Miami one, which is 8,000 square feet. Doggone, those are buildings.
Several of his friends, they've identified themselves as, have been trying to get through the crime scene to get to the house. But of course, LAPD not letting them through. We've tried to get comment from them on camera to find out if they have any more information about what's going on, but they haven't been able to they don't want to provide us any information, I should
Yeah,
say.
if you live in that neighborhood, just go ahead and go to your second home. I know it sounds funny, but basically that's who's around there.
And just in case you're just joining us, we have homes of P. Diddy being raided on both coasts, Miami and his home here in Holmdel.
Yeah, there you go, Miss RV. You called it. You called it right. You nailed it. They usually do everything all at once. Here we go.
So Haley, just to clarify, in that statement, it didn't mention Sean Combs, correct, or anything?
It doesn't, but we have
It doesn't, but come on, you know.
confirmation from multiple law enforcement sources that this does involve Sean Combs or P. Diddy. But no, this statement, I'll read it one more time, says earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from both HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners.
All right.
We'll provide further information as it becomes available. Of course, we're trying to get them to talk to us on camera, but they said, the lady in particular who sent me the statement says she's not allowed to.
Thank you so much. Yeah, not really clarifying a whole lot though, but clearly understandable because right now, maybe they're not in position to divulge any more information. So let's bring in Hal Kemper here again from Homeland Security. Thank you so much for your expertise in all this. I don't know if you heard that statement, but didn't really say it.
Let me pause that right now because I want to go to this part right here. I want to show you some of the dysfunction of Diddy. He's not dysfunctional because he might be gay or whatever. He's dysfunctional by his toxic behavior that he has expressed towards other people, whether it be mild or aggressive. All right, welcome, Jizzy. Haven't seen you for a minute. Good to see you in here. H.T. Baldwin's up in here. He said this, H.T. Baldwin says this, he called up Russell a couple of weeks ago to ask if he had an extra row. An extra row. Jizzy B says this, the $64 million question is, who told Diddy to do that? Who guided him and who taught him the ropes? Correct. Correct, Jizzy. I think you know, Epstein is a possibility, but he could have got it from pimps before him. You know, that there's a lot of options out there. He could have learned from a lot of people. We'd have to dig. I think I did dig back into his history in one of the videos I made about a month or two ago. But check this out right here. This is going to be very weird, people. Sorry, you have to hear it, but here we go.
Oh, wow. Oh, fuck that shit, man. Fuck shit.
All right, let's really get into this wild situation that's got
Okay. Just listen.
everybody talking all over. Now, out of the blue, there's this new audio clip that's been making rounds. And word on the street is that it's Meek Mill and Diddy in what sounds like a pretty freaky and exciting moment. Yup, you got that right. But yo, let's not jump the gun here. Before everyone starts getting all worked up, we got to hit that pause button real quick and talk about where this thing even came from. The source of this audio, it's muddy.
That's what it's all about. I want to find out where it came from because, I mean, if he and Meek want to share cheeks, that's their business. Let's find out, though, how it got out.
No one's got a clue about where it came from, but if you listen to it, man, it's hard not to think it's Meek and Diddy in those sounds. So imagine this. You're just chilling, scrolling through your feed.
We don't know if it's really Meek and Diddy, but we'll find out, right?
And boom, this clip hits you. The internet's on fire with it. Everyone throwing in their opinion. Some folks are all shocked, like, no way, that can't be them, while others are just soaking up the drama, ready for whatever's coming next. But here's the thing. We ain't got no solid proof, no confirmation about who's really in that clip. It's all just hearsay and whispers, the kind of gossip that gets the streets talking and everyone picking sides. Now, with something this juicy, you'd expect Meek and Diddy to come out and say something, right? But nah.
Well, we see that Diddy has his own problems, right? So we ain't gonna put out nothing about that. This is what I want to show you why we really need to rethink who our heroes slash role models slash pillars of the community are. Check this out.
I'm just now like getting comfortable with speaking on it. I just want a voice. I have a
This is called 11 Alive, by the way.
voice.
Tonight, a story of survival and perseverance. A 15-year-old's runaway who found herself being sold to dozens of men for sex by a man who found her on a dating app.
Human trafficking is a major issue across the metro. Tonight, a young woman who survived is sharing her story with us for the very first time. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn sat down with this incredibly brave woman. So, Cody, how did all this unfold?
Well, I got an Instagram message last month. In fact, it's right here. It was a screenshot of my report from one of the men who bought this young woman for sex being convicted. The message read, you can see, I am the 15-year-old being sex trafficked. And after my case, I would like to tell you my story. Well, last week, the man who sold her to dozens of men was found guilty. Tonight, the story is no longer about them, and it's a story you'll see only on 11 Alive. She was just a child.
I was a runaway.
In 2018, at 15 years old,
I don't know my way around Atlanta.
she quickly found herself online, like every teenager.
I ended up being on basically like a dating profile.
She posed as an 18-year-old, and it wasn't long until her inbox was filling
He was
up.
basically selling me fake fantasies of him being my boyfriend or us being together, building like an empire and stuff.
When in reality, it was a predator grooming his next victim.
Me being young and not having a father figure, it's like I can't really tell if a dude is trying to use me or if they really want to be with me because I never experienced that love from a male figure. So I was just that person follow for it.
Less than 2 weeks after meeting on a dating app,
The same app I met him from, that's the same app he was selling me off of.
it continued on for several months.
I was given beans, which have like multiple drugs in it. Me being on those, I wasn't really here. Like physically I was here, but mentally I wasn't here.
She believed
So
she would
basically, that's what it seems to be happening is that these men are putting these women on these drugs and then selling them. But then it's funny because then men who support men like that are trying to say they want a feminine, friendly, and submissive woman.
was sold to at least 50 men.
I told him that I don't want to do it anymore. My body can't take it. My body was very messed up badly to the point where I couldn't even walk.
It would be one of the buyers who showed up for sex who got her out.
He came and he noticed something was wrong. He told me that to get my stuff that he's going to get me out that situation. And that's how I really got out.
An escape she never thought would happen.
Damn, that's deep.
It looks easy to run and get away, but in reality, it's not.
Shortly after getting out, she was arrested. Finally, her chance to tell police about being sold and bought for sex, but nothing happened.
I felt like nobody believed me.
She wasn't far off.
I thought people was just having a hard time trying to find me because I was in foster homes and I was in group homes too. So I thought it was just hard for people to find me. But it wasn't that.
Her case was actually closed by local authorities. In 2021, the
Wow, that's sad.
Attorney General's Human Trafficking Prosecution Unit reopened it and prosecuted it.
I just got my closure at court. I'm happy now. I'm really happy.
She's incredible. This is absolutely heartbreaking because
So if men in our community, if we put more effort into saving our community instead of exploiting our community, I believe we could really make some big bounds. Phoenix in the house. So, I mean, that's deep. Let me keep it going.
she's just one of so many teens being sold and bought for sex right now. It's why we cannot turn our heads when we hear about runaways, They're running from something. And if we don't find them, these predators will. It took this.
This is what's funny to me. I'm going to play that over again because I think that's deep what he was saying. What's sad to me, though, is that it's the man who's offering the protection. It shouldn't even get to them in our community. It shouldn't. But maybe see that's the problem, though. We protect the offenders more than we protect the victims, in my opinion. Think about it. There are more people out there wanting to defend R. Kelly than to defend this young lady here. Oh, and women like her. So it's funny that we live in a culture where online men claim that they can protect and provide, but if you look at the numbers, that's not the case. Or not that we don't at all. I'm not saying that. But let's just say we are on the bottom of that list of doing those things. She should have never have gotten that. That should have never have happened to her. A 14-year-old is a 14-year-old kid. Yes, you're supposed to have a certain level of common sense, but it should not affect you to the point where it ruins your life. Let's listen to what the guy has to say. Here we go.
If we don't find them, these predators will. It took this man 1 week to groom, lure, and sell this child for sex.
Absolutely eye-opening. Such an important story to tell. Cody Alcorn, thank you. You can follow
I
Cody.
I want somebody to tell me a black male manosphere channel that is trying to keep both young boys and girls from being exploited. Tell me. Tell me. I bet you can't. Nope, you can't. That's sad. That's really sad. They have their little meetings, and they go to a media place and try to act like they're all highfalutin and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, they haven't done anything for the community. They've done stuff for their community, but not for the community. It's a shame. It's really a shame. Anyway, let me drop the link one more time, just in case anybody have any questions or concerns. Just jumped on here real quick. Let me see what else I got in the mix. So how's everybody doing tonight? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Let me see what I got here. JG Music in the house. Phoenix in the house. Mistress Newbie in the house. Tevin's in the house. Miss RV's in the house. HB Baldwin in the house. Mistress Newbie. Yeah, I'm relaxing on the hard days of work too. I mean, this should be fun. Here we go, folks. Okay, so we covered Diddy pretty well. I think we should go on to a little bit of fun. Here we go. A little off beat, but here we go.
Hello?
What's up with you?
I got all the men with microphones tonight.
K Brown.
What's your name?
They just called me House.
They call that what your mama call you too?
Yeah.
Oh wait, we've seen him before. That's the 7-on-7 guy. That's the 7-on-7. Man, here, let's go to this. Okay, let's see what's going on with this right here. Uh-oh. It's locked, ain't it? Okay, that might be locked.
Hello?
We'll let it roll.
What's up with you?
I got all the men with microphones tonight.
Yeah.
What's your name?
They just called me House.
They call that what your mama call you too?
Yeah, no, that's my name.
Turn your music down in the background.
Oh shit, that's right. Let me go. Let me check something out here for a minute. Let me go back. I got plenty of let's see. Diddy update. Okay. How about this?
By Homeland Security agents.
KTLA 5.
We begin with breaking news. Reports that a Holmby Hills mansion linked to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs
Welcome,
was
Hazelwood.
raided by Homeland Security agents.
KTLA 5's Rachel Minitoff joining us live now from the scene with more on this breaking story. Rachel?
Lou, Glenn, we've seen federal agents in and around the home working together with local law enforcement. And from our chopper view, we saw several people questioned outside of the home, and some have even been detained. There's a lot of activity out here, choppers up above. Take a look at what we're seeing from the ground. You can see that LAPD has blocked off this entire
Okay, we've seen this footage before. Beautiful, beautiful house. Even though the house of a devil, though. JG Music breaks it down like this. They want to have control over and turn these babies into animals because they won't get therapy for perceived mistreatment. So they want to get revenge by taking the vulnerable's innocence. Well said, JG. Well said, JG Music. Good to see everybody in the house.
street, which is now filled with media from around the world, as well as onlookers. Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI, out of New York, says it
Tisha Lovejoy in the house.
executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation. And from afar, it looks like there has been a raid of one of the homes on this street. Take a look at the video from our chopper of the activity this afternoon. This is the 200 block of Mapleton Drive in the Holmby
So
Hills.
y'all think they're gonna try to martyr Diddy and say, "Oh wow, look, he's the new Martin MLK" and stuff like that? They did that with R. Kelly, so why not him? Tev says this is black because he said he don't F black women, but because they don't have fathers for their kids. Wow. Yeah. Here we
Hills
go.
area, and you can see the large SWAT vehicles, federal agents in bulletproof vests, and people detained in handcuffs outside of the home. This home is believed to belong to Sean Diddy Combs, or P. Diddy. A car at the home came back to Bad Boy Productions, which is his company. According to TMZ, P. Diddy...
I mean, that talk about putting putting emphasis on Bad Boy.
His LA and Miami home are both being raided. The outlet says this appears to be tied to sex trafficking allegations, which have been levied against Diddy in recent months from different plaintiffs. There are several divisions here, including HSI Los Angeles, Miami, and local law enforcement, but this is being led, I'm told, by a division out of New York. Not a whole lot of information at this point. We don't know who's here at the house and whether or not P. Diddy...
He's done. It'll take a while because he's going to get the best lawyers. It'll take a minute. You know. But he's done. He really is.
himself is here. We did receive a statement from P. Diddy's accuser's attorney in response to reports of a search warrant that was issued. It says, quote, "We will always support law enforcement when it seeks to prosecute those that have violated the law. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his depraved conduct." Back out here live, it's obviously a very active scene. Media is being kept at a distance, and there are still many unanswered questions. We have reached out.
Yeah, that's a big property. So, you can't have people just sneaking in and out. I mean, how can you get, that thing is as big as an office building. I mean, a large office building, Hazelbug says he's going down, down, down.
And haven't yet heard back. Coming up in the next hour, we've been talking to residents of this building.
Diddy did all the shenanigans himself. Phoenix breaks it down like that.
Hills neighborhood, who describe wild parties coming from this particular home, will share their accounts coming up in the next hour. That's the very latest from Holmby Hills. I'm Rachel Menitoff. Lou, Glenn, back to you in the studio.
Rachel, thank you.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wild parties, they say. Wild parties. So what are your thoughts, everybody? Put your thoughts in the chat, or you can come up on, let me drop the link again. You can come to the panel. You're going to go down, 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 down. I mean, let me look at some of my older Diddy videos, because I think we need to see what's going on with that. I tried to tell everybody. I've been saying I told you so. Well, really, we told you so for a long time, because I got my crew with me, Yeah, what else do we have here? What else? Where is Diddy? Oh, let me just find it. Yeah, let me see what I was saying from the beginning. Here we go. Yep, remember this one? Y'all remember this one? Let me go. Maybe 10 shades of men, right? You take that slice of what each portion of the community represents a certain person. What percentage of the Black male population are Diddy's? What population of the Black male population is Blueface's? What population are the Black male population are Futures? You see where I'm getting at? All of a sudden, that pie, I mean, how many of, let's add them in, the good guys, how many of the Black male population are Russell Wilsons? How much of the Black male populations are Denzel Washingtons? How much of the populations are of Dr. Dre? How much of the Black male population is Snoop Dogg? How much of the Black male population is, let's say, Jonathan? You see where I'm getting to? Yeah, I mean, my point back then in this video, this was made, by the way, how long ago was this? 3 months ago, is where do we want to lay our hat? Red headphones in the house. Red headphones is up in the house. Where do we want to lay our hat? Do we want to lay our hats on this kind of behavior? Or do we want to bring something more positive? You know? Look, he's in trouble. I mean, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I mean, so, you know, fame and fortune-wise, these guys are at the top of their game, but morally, they're wrecks. Yeah, remember this part? Let that play for a minute. Let that play for a minute.
In the fucking public, you feel me?
Yeah.
So niggas can't say nothing about it. Them square ass, them precious
Here's
cake.
Aaron
little
Hall.
Yeah.
I like for them niggas to how I like you speak to
Yeah.
Jodeci or Puffy or any of them niggas. They
Yeah.
been at my house. They all see me. They all know I'm a big.
Yeah.
This was absolutely.
I mean, morals tell women. Then we have this dude right here.
And Jay-Z.
So I remember when somebody came on to, you know, my channel and was very upset because I was insinuating that Jamie Foxx was part of the party and, you know, with Diddy, right? And that, you know, he had done some stuff too. And then, you know, there was that thing that came out about him, you know, doing that, being quite rough. I'm being nice. But all them icons, role models. What are we going to do? I mean, basically, that's the whole scoop. I mean, quite honestly, I just wanted to get on here for a minute. But you know, I got to end with one of my favorite clips. And here we go.
You is not all that high value. You see how all these black celebrities been jailed? Michael Jackson, everybody, you name it, all the way down to P. Diddy, you name it. They've been arrested. So they can't be that much of a high value because they ain't got no power or political influence.
Very true. Spicy Black Tina breaks it down like this. George Lucas' wife chose better. She never involved herself with bandits focused on developing. She focused on developing herself to top level and married a Black women can learn a lot from Mrs. Melody Hobson. Absolutely. She didn't. Yeah. I mean, let's see what
in the words of Sin, he's just worm food now.
Oh.
Okay, so you have to defend your child.
But you also remember you got two of my kids.
Notice how he's.
Who was she going to believe? Is she going to believe him or is she going to believe her?
No,
You know?
he never called her a liar. He's basically saying that exactly what my brother here said. He never said, "Well, you gonna believe her or me?" He said, "You're willing to ruin me with my other kids." So he's saying, whether I did it or not, you're gonna ruin with my family over your kid. If he can rewind it and just let it play. So
Okay.
then, okay.
Women
Hazel.
who actually think about it from the man's side. Understand.
Hazel says this, Big Brother DJ Torch, all these Black men has run amok far too long. Bars. Yeah. I mean, from Diddy, R. Kelly, Jay-Z. Those are three of the most respected Black men in our communities. More men respect those men than respect Denzel or some of the other men in our community. More than LeBron James. More than LeBron James. They respect Diddy. They respect R. Kelly. Bill Cosby is a different story. But yeah. Our radar needs to get adjusted.
Understanding that my child today is a liability because it costs. So number one, is she well-mannered, well-behaved, smart, taken care of? Does she understand, and do I really believe that you're going to come second to my husband? Is my husband going to come first?
So, see, that's how it all starts right here. This is how trafficking starts right here. There's a man with the mentality of this man here, and I won't even say his name today. I'm not going to even say it today. But a man of this mentality who, by the way, remember now, bragged about having a rotation of 6 women, which is kind of like self-pimping in a way, self-tricking and pimping at the same time in a way. Basically, exploiting women is the goal. And he basically was teaching other men how to exploit women. That's what he was doing. That's basically what he was doing. Diddy falls into a long line in history of this because, believe it or not, Diddy and him are around the same age. But I guarantee you not, they respect him and they respect Diddy in this room. I mean, not room, but let's say in this space, that's the word, more than they do somebody like Denzel or somebody else who did it at least more correctly. Not saying they were perfect, but at least they did things more correctly. They don't have a house full of buffoonery going on. Hazelbuck breaks it down just like this. When did children become a liability? This is bat-ish crazy. Bars. Yeah, they became a liability when they were supposed to become an asset. They were supposed to become an accessible asset to this type of mentality of men. The men were supposed to be able to do anything they wanted to them. Marcy D in the house. That's what is going on. That's what's going on. This is the Diddy lifestyle. Who do you think this man right here would have on his show first? Russell Wilson, one of the people he already hates, or Future, or Diddy? Take a guess. You guessed it. A man who has it's either going to be a man who has 10 kids and has admitted being promiscuous, or a man who is basically going the route of being a pimp, a trafficker. You want to know why? Want to know why this man's doing that? Because he is. I would say he's a little bit more slick about it, but he's doing the same thing. Phoenix breaks it down like this. With all due respect to y'all, my biggest regret was going to one of those parties. Therapy is hard for deletion. Body count ain't nothing. Demons in the room won't tell. Your conscience will. Bars. Straight up from Phoenix. Yeah, exactly, Hazel. What happened to integrity and morals? No, I would go as far as saying, Hazel, that integrity and morals are detested. Because when you think about it, basically, that's basically exactly if you had to say something about integrity and morals, you could make that argument for somebody like Russell Wilson. But they want to call him a simp. They probably call all men with integrity and morals a simp. They probably would.
Or is it we're a package deal? If you're a package deal, that's no deal. I'll be honest, it's a package deal, that's no deal
So
because
what he's saying is correct if you're a low value moral man, if you're a low moral man. Hey, that's a new word. There's high value, but then there's a low moral man or a high moral man.
let's say you and I were to get married, you got a daughter, right?
Mhm.
Let's say we have 2 kids together
Mhm.
and your child is 5. So 10 years from now, your daughter comes home and said, Kevin touched, looked at me getting out of the shower.
Any right thinking woman would say, okay, this is toast. What does he want this woman to say?
What happens
And
next?
the relationship will have to end.
Huh?
Boom, she nailed it.
That's not something the relationship would end immediately.
Because your daughter said I looked at her getting out of the shower.
Like it's not a big deal. Notice how he's framing it. He's playing to his crowd. Remember that.
Why would that person even be close to the bathroom to see her? That would be the thing you have to and your child.
Mhm, but you also remember you got 2 of my kids.
That's manipulation, gaslighting. All of those kids came out of her. Am I right or am I wrong? So how are they just his kids? If they're going to give the child to somebody, they're going to probably give it to the woman who actually made the children. Yes, the man helps, but they aren't his. So it's kind of weird and sad to hear something like that. So let's finish off with a little bit more of this, and then we'll call it. Here we go. Yep. What a way to end your career. Way to go, Diddy. Great role model work, my man. Great role model work. I'm utterly disappointed and embarrassed. You know, embarrassed, disappointed, whatever you want to call it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a minute to take a break, but if there are any new updates come on, I'll be back online doing just fine. Let's break it down for now. Here we go. Let me break down here. All right, everybody, catch you on the next one. Later tonight or tomorrow. Phoenix in the house. RCD in the house. It's a bug in the house. It's not hard to fool me. Red headphones in the house. I'm addicted to the good life. Big shout out. The replay crew. Ray Brown in the house. No need to say. JG Music in the house. Where we are heading now, HT Baldwin in the house. I follow. Break it down, break it down. Kevin, the lifestyle guy. Did I say Hazel Ball again? Let me say it again. Movie in the house. It's RV. Jizzy B in the house. Mystic Moon. I'm the abstract. Break it down, down. VM. All little folks up in the clouds. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Cause I know what I'm getting into. Yes. Yeah. Nothing can stop me.
Here we go now.
Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way. I follow.
Got more for you. More entertainment.
Where we are heading now, babe.
Diddy.
I follow.
Man, you did it wrong all your life.
The edge of it all.
You done some good, you did bad.
So tell you good night.
Just bad.
Cause I'll find a better one.
Yeah. You need to find better role models, that's for sure. Break it down one time.
So tell you good night. Cause I'll find a better one.
I am proud of Cassie Phoenix. I am so proud of Cassie as well. All right, everybody. I'm going to catch you till the next time.